When I don't understand things, it is wildly frustrating to me. It's something about myself I can't control yet. And what I can't seem to understand is why the fuck do we have laws and due processes and judges and courts and even like societal norms and shit if when it's time to enforce these laws and shit and make sure that they're not violated and stuff, we do fuck all. I don't have an answer for the people asking what more can I do. I don't know what more I can do. Violence isn't the answer, right? We're using our voices as much as we fucking can, right? And then we live in this nation where violence isn't the answer. So you have things like arrests, due process, jail time, prison time, capital punishment if the crime warrants it. You know what I'm saying? Like you have these deterrents from crime and violence and all the bullshit, right? But like in the federal government, right? It should literally be impossible to be where we are in present day. You go try to fly a Nazi sign in any regard in Germany, they shut that shit down immediately. But then in America, they just fly it willy-nilly and it's freedom of speech. Like, freedom of speech does not give a green light to hate speech. America has that fucked up in that regard. Like what Jimmy Kimmel said about MAGA and Trump and all that shit, that's freedom of speech. He's not calling for violence and the ending of an entire race like these white supremacist groups and shit like that do, right? My point is that I just read the story where James Comey gets indicted for whatever the fuck happened in 2016 with Russia's alleged collusion to get Trump elected and whatever, like all this stuff, right? And in this article I'm reading on CNN, it says that he's being charged with giving false statements. I immediately pause. Giving false statements. And he's being attacked. That's what it is. They call it a prosecution, but that's what it is, right? So he's being prosecuted by the Department of Justice for giving false statements. The Department of Justice under Donald Trump's rule. Like that level of hypocrisy is so fucking infuriating. Donald Trump is sending Pam Bondi to go after James Comey, right? For potentially making false statements when we hear this motherfucker lie all the time. Don't even get me started. And then right under that paragraph, it said that Pam Bondi tweeted, "No one is above the law." That's just a fucking lie. The Supreme Court said that the President of the United States cannot be criminally prosecuted. The President of the United States is someone. Not being able to be criminally prosecuted means you're above the law. Someone above the law, someone above the law, and she says no one is above the law. Like, this is what we're talking about. Don't even get me started on the laws that they'll enforce on other people, but then they'll want some type of pass or they'll ignore for themselves. Like, this level of fucking inexplicable hypocrisy shouldn't even be possible. So I get wildly frustrated that we don't have things in place that when you look at fucking science and data and facts and you say, nope, vaccines cause autism, and then you just make policies in the real world. The fact that we allow that is crazy. Like, if we don't figure this out in my lifetime, I genuinely hope that the people in America after me figure this out. This shouldn't be fucking possible. RFK Jr. has no credentials or qualifications whatsoever to be the Secretary of Health. Kash Patel has no credentials or qualifications whatsoever to lead the FBI. Donald Trump and MAGA have no business whatsoever going after anybody for false statements. The day Charlie Kirk tragically lost his life, Republicans across the board immediately blamed the left before a crumb of evidence was done. But then this same political party wants to attack other people for making false statements. Do you know how many false statements has come from them in the last 6? Do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see how wildly frustrating it is that this should be something as simple as, that's fucking stupid. That doesn't make any sense. That's against the progression of America, so we're not going to do that. The fact that we let somebody who did not do a peaceful transfer of power. Like, I don't see people freaking out enough about that. The man did not do a peaceful transfer of power. And then we let him back in the Oval Office. None of this should be possible. This is part of why I'm not currently proud to be an American, because our literal system is a joke. Over 1,500 people attempted an insurrection on camera, and they got a pardon. A pardon shouldn't even be possible. That was a violent crime. That was an anti-American crime. That was treason. That was an attempt at a coup. Nobody, even if somehow Obama was the president right now and he had a change of heart somehow, nobody should be able to pardon the J6ers. The fact that that's possible is fucking crazy, guys. I just don't understand how we're boasting to the world, most powerful country in the world, richest country in the world, all the greatest inventions come from America, and then like our literal federal government system is a fucking joke. We all saw Donald Trump accidentally leak that he wanted Bondi to go after his political opponents and prosecute them. And then he had to delete that fucking post on True Social and then post some saving face motherfucker bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But behind closed curtains, he's like, Pam, make this happen or else I don't care how. And then she goes and does it, right? And I'm 99% positive that the country's response to that ultimately is going to be, oh, thank God we voted somebody else in that has common fucking sense now and won't do some corrupt bias bullshit. And then the people who did the corrupt bias bullshit just return to society as citizens with no consequences, right? And then they continue to push their ideology and their worldview. Somebody else takes their role in the Republican Party or in the federal government, and then they rise all the same. It's just a different face, same dumbass shit. We don't punish the dumb shit. And then on top of that, we let the people doing the dumb shit lie and fabricate stories and falsely accuse the other side of doing dumb shit. And then when they can't prove it, we all just look at each other as the country gets worse and worse. Like, why? How did we get here? I have another video later where I'm talking about how I'm sick of some parents having immediate negative opinions about people that don't want to have kids, right? Part of that video is going to be everything I've talked about in this video. None of this shit makes sense. None of it makes sense. The hypocrisy is sickening, right? We just saw all of MAGA expect the entire country, hell, the entire world, to be heartbroken about what happened to Charlie Kirk, right? Has MAGA said any thoughts and prayers or anything positive about the detainees that got shot at the Dallas ICE facility? Sniper on a roof. Detainees got shot. Immigrants got shot. Sniper on a roof. CK got shot. Which one did they demand your sympathy for? It's shit like that, right? Like bias and hypocrisy and rules for thee, not for me. When it's this blatant and in your face, and our only response is, damn, that's crazy. How do we beat it? How do we beat it? The fact that there's no legislation or some type of immediate shutdown of all of this dumb shit, and then we just realize that it's an attack on freedom of speech. We realize that this is stealing healthcare from people. We realize that this is punishing the poor and rewarding the rich. We're realizing all of these things, but there's no active consequence for the people fucking doing it. They're still trying to get y'all to believe this lie that this is what the American people voted, because they still ignore the fact that that was damn near a 50-50 popular vote. I still sit here and I refuse to believe that that evil man won every single swing state. There's something fishy about this election, just like there is in the 2016 election. There's nothing fishy about the 2020 election. Don't even get me started, okay? But when we are at this point in society where people can just break the law, break the Constitution, be racist, be homophobic, be transphobic, be evil, and there is nothing in our country we can do as a civil society, these problems we're experiencing now will continue to repeat themselves because we have nothing in place to stop it. Like, what are we doing?